Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of The Legend of Drunken Master, also known as Drunken Master 2, a Hong Kong action comedy from 1994 that stars Jackie Chan. This is a sequel to the film Drunken Master from 1978. Now, when the British government is discovered smuggling precious Chinese artifacts out of the country, folklore hero Wong Fei Hung uses his uniquely outlandish style of martial arts, drunken boxing, to fight the conspirators and salvage the valuables before it's too late. And the more Hung drinks, the more agile he becomes, able to fend off numerous attacks with unbelievable moves. Now, it might be odd to say this about an action comedy, but this movie does not mess around. It really doesn't. It moves at a blistering pace, and it piles on just tons of expertly choreographed fights and funny gags. Now, in regard to the former, all of the fights are really good in this. The opening spear sword fight under the train, involving Jackie and Lau Kar Lung, is fantastic. I mean, the weapon attacks and the weapon counterattacks are filmed in those unedited wide shots that we like so much, which showcase dozens of moves in a single take, man. I mean, you're watching these guys, how long did it take to rehearse and choreograph that scene? I have no idea. It must have taken a while. And that scene, we get that classic scene within the opening 10 minutes. It's kind of like Hard Boiled with a tea house shootout within the opening 10 minutes. I mean, it just gets the movie off on a ridiculous level. And like I said, Drunken Master 2 just does not mess around. You get a drunken boxing exhibition and a tea house brawl that are solid as well. But the final showdown between Jackie and Ken Lo is phenomenal. It's certainly one of my favorite fight scenes of all time. It's really up there. Ken has a really cool fighting style. He uses wobbly leg movements that are pretty fun to watch. And you could tell if you were fighting the guy, it would be a little confusing and disorienting if you're fighting this guy for the first time. He's very fast and he plays off of Jackie very well. He has been in his fair share of action flicks over the years, but I feel like after watching him in this film and rewatching the film so many times, I feel like Ken Lo should have been showcased a bit more during his prime. I mean, he's got the moves, he's got the athleticism, he's got the charisma. He's charismatic in this film too. He almost prods and taunts Jackie and some of these other protagonists when he's beating them up or taking advantage of them. He's really good in this. And this final fight is preceded by multiple fights where Jackie's fighting Ken's goons for a while as a warm-up for the finale. So, yeah, overall, the fights in Drunken Master 2 are highly satisfying, and they're legendary enough in and of themselves to justify a watching of this movie. Now, in regard to the comedic elements, I think they're hilarious. This is one of Jackie's funniest movies in terms of the humor outside of the fights, because you're always going to get some, well, not always, but you frequently get humor within the fight scenes themselves, right? Because Jackie will sometimes stumble over something, or he'll get hurt a lot, and there'll be some crazy shenanigans, and that happens in this film as well, especially given the fact that he's pissed drunk when he's fighting these guys. But there's also some really funny stuff outside of the fights in this. This is one of my favorite Anita Mui performances. She's great in this. Most of the humor with her revolves around her and Jackie's shenanigans. They get into trouble, and they do some things they shouldn't be doing. And they get in trouble together, and they kind of cover for one another to stay out of trouble, which is a really funny, it's just a really funny kind of subplot within the main plot, because they're trying to, they don't want to infuriate his dad. So, they work together to get away with some of the naughty stuff that they do. I found that to be very charming and hilarious. And, what else is there to say about this movie? This is an action comedy where the action is phenomenal and the comedy is really good. You cannot go wrong with this. If you have not seen The Legend of Drunken Master, as well as the first film, Drunken Master, you have to get on this. Even if you're generally not a big fan of martial arts films, I think this movie, Drunken Master 2 in particular, it just kind of transcends its genre, just because it's so entertaining. It's purely entertaining. So check this one out if you haven't already. It's available on Netflix in the United States, and there's multiple, I think, physical releases floating around out there. And as always, I'll see you next time.